Okay, so we've got the Infestations. These came late in the campaign, but massively requested. And you can basically get them in 3 different sizes. Okay, so this is the small size. So I think this is Outbreak, possibly. And then you get like a Biohazard, which is an even bigger pack. And then I think it's Epidemic is the just crazy big slab of this stuff. Okay, to cover your whole set, as it were. So let's just have a look at Butchers at the smaller set. Okay, so with the Infestations, it doesn't matter which set you have, it's the same sheet repeated. Okay, so everything you need is kind of on the one sheet, every sort of style of thing. So it's not a very complicated set, which is really good, but it is incredibly effective. Okay, so first of all, and this is really tricky, we've got organic shapes here, which means that the die cutting blade has had to do some crazy stuff. When I showed this tool to China, yeah, we didn't hear back for a day, and then they come back and like, oh, this is going to be tough. Okay, but it's done, and they've done a fantastic job of it. Okay, so I'm just going to pop all of this out. Okay, so I popped all of that out, and you end up with this, all of these bits here. And you think to yourself, right, I'm done, this is all nicely done. But if you look really closely, you'll see all the way through the set, you've got lots of little small bits to pop out as well. So now it's time for me to do that. And really importantly, do not throw these bits away, because they, like your scatter, will add some real depth to your setup. So I'm going to carry on doing that. Okay, cool. So, and I've probably missed some, but yeah, I've got all the bits and pieces out. This looks really good scattered in there. I had one bit that was a bit tricky to get out, and I just, clawed it out, as it were. But you can use a knife if you need to. Okay, so you've basically got some various bits in here. You've got the scatter, that's clearly scatter, things like these pods and the tentacles. You've got this new scatter, all the little bits that fell out of your walls or pushed out your walls. Okay, so you've got 4 different shaped organic walls. You've got 1 half wall. You've got 5 different struts, including one that's actually enveloped one of your struts that you get in the set. You've then got this guy here, which can kind of be used on a wall, but it's also really for the floor. It's a floor splat, if you like, that goes in a corner, but it's got a slot in it that helps you put that on a wall. Then you've got some general splats, which really are just, they've got no slots on them, they're really just for the floor. Okay, so there you go, that's what you get on a sheet, and of course you'll get 3 times that in just the most basic, the smallest set, okay, which is enough to do sort of a third of a single level set, say. Okay, so there you go. So I'm going to move all the tentacle stuff out of the way, and I'm going to move the floor splodges out of the way, and all that scatter as well. And we're going to focus just on the struts and the walls. Okay, so I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab this here as an example. All I've got here is an area of a one tiny bit of one of your setups. Okay, and the way that these work is they don't clip together. Okay, so they're not like normal walls. They're not going to clip together. Now, technically, you can, because the slots are a lot longer, okay, and they're cut thinner as well, and you'll see that for a reason, okay. Now, just because they're not meant to be slotted together, it doesn't mean that you can't still kind of slot them together, okay. So you can kind of do that and kind of do that, and you can kind of put them together and make wall sections and things as well, but that's not what they're meant for. Okay, what happens is with these is that you've got two. You've got a 2 different types. You've got these ones here which really just cover a blank wall. You've got these ones here with the large areas in the middle, and they're designed specifically to cover a standard wall, just like these guys, but also you can use them for door access. So for example, this one that's got the much bigger hole in it, okay, you can actually use that to clip across and actually go in front of a door, so you've still got access through here, through this door here, and vice versa. You've got this one here which basically can go in there and will go across a single door. But of course you can put them on normal walls as well, okay? But if you're going to put it across a door, these are the ones that you want to use. The ratio of two of those and two of those is, if you like, too much doors, but it doesn't matter because any you've got left over look great on a wall and are designed for a wall anyway. Okay, so how do they work if they don't clip together? Basically what you do is they actually clip stroke rest onto your clips, and they clip and rest onto the small part of the clip that's actually showing, not this part here. The struts will go on there, but just that. So to demo, let's take this one actually that we've got, which has got the access for the door. I'm gonna try and do this backwards. I've also not adjusted these yet, so you might have a slot. Okay, that one's quite thin, that just is a bit too tight. Okay, so I'm just going to force these on here, but you probably want to. Okay, you might want to adjust, and you can see if I put that over there. Okay, I can't quite see what I'm doing here. Ah, right, I need to move it along a little bit. Okay, there you go. Like that. Have I moved it along enough? Okay, there you go. So that clips over the top of there. That slot's a little bit tight, but now you can see that that's on there. Okay, and you're like, oh cool, right, now that's all infested up. That wall is now infested up. So let's take one of these, ones over here. Let's put, kind of push that in there. Now, if you get one that's loose, that one's okay. But if you get one that's loose, all you need is a tiny little bit of blue tack, which is this stuff here. And we love this stuff anyway because you can kind of basically just pop a bit. We use it for the signs in the urban as well, and you can use it for the signs you get in this set. And you can basically just put splodges wherever you like. Okay, don't put it on your game mat, because you don't need to, because things are resting. You have gravity as your friend. Okay, and so on and so forth. And with these, you'll notice that they're actually a little bit shorter than a wall by the thickness of the cardboard. Okay, by about 1.5 mil. And the reason for that is if you wanted to go around a corner here and they were exactly the same length as a wall, you wouldn't be able to fit them on, because of the thickness would push it too far one way. So whenever you're putting things on, you can always have enough room to slot right into the corner. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this for a second because I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to slot that on there, like so. Okay, and you can see here there's a gap. Okay, and that gap allows you, when you're putting this one on, for example, allows you to be able to push that into there. My hand is in the way basically, but that now goes behind there, which means that this is the right length for this wall, and so on and so forth. And you can basically just go and infest and infest and infest and infest. Okay, so now I've done a bit of infestation. I can show you, what can I show you? I can show you this. This is a floor piece which would go in the center there. Then we'd put some struts on here, okay. And again, with these struts, you can make, these are great because you can strut out a corridor of all the sort of sinewy kind of, all the bits, all the way down a corridor like you would. But don't think you have to use it like this, because if you do this, it's exactly the same height, and then you get this kind of membrane effect. So you go like this, like this, like this, like this, and it looks really, really cool. Okay, so absolutely do that. If you don't, I'll find you and I'll make you do it. Okay, so you've then got this floor piece. Remember I said it's got a slot in it. If you wanted to, you could start to infest a wall, okay, with this piece here. And I'm just gonna pop that on there, like I can't see what I'm doing. I'm gonna click that on there like that, okay. And that kind of infests the door, but you could kind of get through there if you wanted to do it like that as well. And that kind of runs out a bit, so it kind of bleeds the bleeds it out. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick it on there. This is really good for putting across a large double arc door because it bleeds across a little bit. You can have two, still some room to get through. Okay, so I put that down. Obviously I've not got a game mat down, so let me just simulate a little bit. Okay, so you can imagine that you've got an area like that. Obviously these floor tiles are not really meant for doing it like this, so you'd have a bit like that, and you might have one of these going across here. Or should I turn it upside down? Let's turn it upside down so it kind of goes across the top, because that's what I just said would be cool. Still got another wall I could put somewhere. I've got half. You can have half walls. This one could be used for a half wall, but I haven't got any half walls here. So, you know, what do? Should I, you know, you could put it here, for example, and then just use that to kind of blend it into a floor splodge. You'd put that there. Okay, you could even use a whole wall, you know, and then just blend it out with all the splodges. Okay, I've got some strut bits left over, so you could probably, you know, you could probably put one of those down there or something if you wanted to. I've got this tentacle, which are really cool for coming from sort of corners of room. I haven't got a corner over there, but you know, like that, into the center of the room. And then I've got all the little pods, all this kind of little stuff here. These look really cool to just have scattered around. I've got various splodges. I'm probably going overkill here now. Okay, more pods, more bits and pieces, more strut bits. I've also got all of that scatter, all these little pieces that come out. And once you've got everything set up and you've got a nice mix of kind of infestation throughout your set, you can really then just kind of, you know, scatter this stuff around, or, you know, make little piles of mess and splodge, and then you send your miniatures through it and it looks absolutely brilliant. So, you know, that's kind of how the infestations work. If you want to pen this up as well, just find any really kind of poo coloured kids felt tip pen, any sort of muddy brown colour, and just slap it on the edge. Test it on an offcut, test it around the frame here on the inside where you've got a bit of texture, test it there, and you'll get something that just blends it up and just smother the stuff around the edges, and that is just the final touch. I've got some more splodge over here which I missed, little sinewy, fleshy yuck. Okay, and obviously I've got some walls and bits and pieces left over as well. That is the infestations, and of course I've only used one sheet there. I've overkilled this room here, really. I've only used one sheet of the 3 from the very, very basic set. Okay, so you've got another wall there, this will go into another room, and so on and so forth. Really, really cool. Infestations, I'm going to put those in there, I'm going to move that over there, and I'm going to bring it back and say, yay! Okay, infestations, there you go. Really, really cool. Really good set. Yeah, love it.